Let's get into it. Sold Not For Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. Guess which one of these two men Joe Rogan wants to see as president?
About to point to the only person that's ever kicked Trump's ass in an election right now. I hope the media is hearing that. Remind you that. Humiliated Trump, broke him, and he had to lie about it.
Absolutely atrocious. Who do you think it is? Do you think it was Biden or do you think it was John Fetterman? This is a very odd part of the podcast. I would say this is a delusional conversation. I don't know what you think about John Fetterman. I know what I think about him, especially after James O'Keefe did a whole piece on John Fetterman and his special assistant. The special assistant uncovered some major things about John Fetterman, especially the fact that he wants to overturn the Second Amendment. Just odd stuff. But either way, let's get into this conversation. Joe Rogan, Michael Malice, talking about John Fetterman being president of the United States of America.
Get that, Goo?
I'm for sale.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That's good to know, because I've been talking to some people, and I was going to breach this with you, but I'm glad you brought it up on your own.
Perfect.
Well, how much do you charge to lie?
Oh, lying I do for free. It costs money for you to tell the truth.
But propaganda, if you want to be a bot. Like, who would you be a bot for? The libertarians?
God, are you...
No? Anarchy?
Who would I be a bot
Chaos.
for? You know who I'd be a bot for?
Who? Fetterman. I kind of like him.
I love him.
I like him now. I used to think, why isn't that guy...
I donate to his campaign.
I used to think, why does that guy put a suit on? Then I realized, why don't I put a suit on?
Exactly.
You know? I have like this fucking huge podcast, and I wear hoodies. He wears hoodies.
His whole point
he's
is...
my people.
I shouldn't be taken seriously just because I'm a senator. And I got to tell you, for me to say something positive, a politician takes a lot. The barrier is so low. For someone to go on public record and talk about his mental health problems, that could help a lot of people. And I thought it was very commendable of him to do that.
Also, watching him bounce back from his stroke.
I know.
I thought the dude was toast.
Yes, we all did.
Right? Because when you stumble with words that bad, you struggle with thinking that bad, but it was just post-stroke. But then here we are. What was it, like at least 2 years later?
Yeah.
2 years after
2022, yeah.
Seems fine and reasonable. And like saying a lot of stuff that he's like, I'm a progressive. This is not what I stand for.
No, he said I'm not a progressive anymore.
Right. He used to be.
And he
used to be what he thought of a progressive.
Yeah, he was the first one to tell Menendez to resign, and now Menendez is resigning from his own party. So I love him. By the way, Senator Fetterman, if you want to join with me and do a remake of Twins, I'm totally down.
Do you think that guy would ever run for president?
I hope so.
See, he's a reasonable, like, actual
he'd win in 2 seconds.
Left-wing person. He's reasonable.
He's a moderate.
Right, but would they ever let a guy like that even get close? Like, would they Tulsi Gabbard him?
Well, Tulsi was only a congresswoman from Hawaii. She didn't have a big base,
Right.
and she ran against
She
Bernie.
wasn't a governor,
right? And when Bernie was her guy, and she ran against him and Elizabeth Warren, so they're splitting that base three ways. I think he'd have a great shot, don't you?
I do. I do now.
But getting past the primary would be tough because the machine wouldn't like him because he's not reliable. Biden was reliable. He's a party hack.
And he would do speeches with a hoodie on.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. This is outrageous.
But is it outrageous?
No.
His whole point is we work for you.
Yes. No, he's very reasonable. I'm shocked because I used to make fun of him. I used to think, like, this is so crazy that this guy can't talk and he's going to run for governor. And then he won. I was like, oh, well, that's... But he won against Dr. Oz.
Who's the worst.
Well, you know, the guy got brought up in front of Congress for making fake weight loss claims.
You don't go from supporting Jussie Smollett to being a Trump supporter.
Right.
You're a complete phony and a clown. And what was even funnier was when Oprah came out and twisted the knife and endorsed Fetterman at the last minute. Did you remember that?
Oh.
And he was her boy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oprah did that?
Oh, yeah, she did.
Fetterman now, I wonder how many people that endorsed him back then will endorse him now that he's like outside of the...
I don't think he got many endorsements.
But I mean, how many people that were like okay with him? Or still, you know, because if he's speaking the way he's speaking and talking about these issues.
You know what could make it happen?
What?
If Trump wins again, there's going to be a lot of soul searching in the Democratic Party about, like, hey, where we lose track, that we're losing to who they perceive as this complete putz. And that would be an opportunity for someone like Fetterman, like it was for Clinton in '92, to be like, okay, I'm going to steer this party back to where Middle America is, and we could win on those terms.
Well, if they were going to do that, wouldn't they have done that after Trump's first term and instead they ran with Biden?
Well, they could have. They didn't do that for Trump's first term because, first of all, Hillary got millions more votes. Second of all, they were too busy losing their minds to think strategically. This would be a little different.
I mean, after. But after they ran with Biden, there's plenty of like young, enthusiastic people they could have ran with.
Yeah, but I think Biden for them,
What are they talking about? I don't know. Hey, listen. Maybe everybody is yelling at the screen. They're like, Fetterman is the best. I don't know. I've seen the interview with his special assistant where he didn't know he was on camera. He didn't know he was being recorded. He let loose a lot of information about Fetterman that I'm sure Fetterman's team did not want released. And then I see him doing this. This is him at Kamala Harris's rally in Philadelphia, I believe.
The choice just could not be any more stark than this. You know, this election is about moving our country forward with Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. Or a couple of really weird dudes. And look, I gotta tell you, I work with J.D. Vance. I do. And I'm here to confirm that he is a seriously weird dude. Look. Let's get to work, and it all starts now. Thank you, Philadelphia.
Okay, so obviously, I always expose my biases. You guys know me. I don't want to see Kamala Harris as president. I don't think she's qualified whatsoever. I'm just going to put that out there right away. And it's not just the fact that he's at her rally endorsing these two very radical people, which is Harris and Walz. If you haven't heard about Tim Walz, who's been appointed as Kamala Harris's VP, he's the VP pick. This guy, a literal quote. I'm going to be covering this because I know Joe's going to talk about him, and I'm going to do another episode. But his quote is, "One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness." What? The guy is just a straight up socialist. He watched his city burn to the ground during the BLM riots and said it was actually exciting him because he knew it was going to bring about fundamental change, which it didn't, just cost the American taxpayers billions of dollars. I'm not even going to get into this guy. Let's focus on Fetterman for now. But the fact that Fetterman, not only that he was there, okay, but that he was lockstep with this whole weird narrative, this whole weird thing that's been going on, calling Republicans weird. Oh, I want the weird compilation so bad. I should have just kept that thing on lock. I should have just kept it right next to me. But the fact that he went right along with all of the media saying JD is weird. The way that the media and the Kamala Harris campaign in lockstep started calling Trump, JD Vance, and all Republicans weird. The fact that they all did this Project Mockingbird style and that this guy's going right along with it. Lockstep at a moment's notice. I'm here to confirm he is really weird. What? Do you know how crazy that is? And to suggest that someone like this should be president, someone who goes right along, if you are in lockstep with the media and the Democratic Party at the same time, you are a part of the problem. You, in my opinion, are a part of the attack within that we see going on every single day. This guy is no person to be president. And I don't know why Joe was saying it. And please, guys, don't hit me up with the whole, he was joking. There's so many clips that I'll play and people will be like, Joe was just joking around. And it's like, no, he wasn't, okay? There's punchlines and there's build-ups and there's callbacks. There's all these things that are not in the clip. So please, don't tell me that he was joking just because he's a comedian. And then I play this. I'll play this too.
The entire GOP debt ceiling negotiation is a sad charade.
And that's exactly what's wrong in Washington.
Listen
We're
to
playing with
this.
the livelihoods of millions just so the GOP can just turn the screws against hungry Americans. This is the whole reason why the 14th Amendment exists. We need to be prepared to be using it. Again, remember, say that again. We must be prepared.
Remember, say that again. He just read that off of a sheet. Are you kidding me? He's doing the same type of things that Biden does. He looked at a sheet. It said, say that again. And he said it again. He said the word, say it again. Are you kidding me right now? This guy, president? You're out of your mind. I don't know what Joe and Michael Mouse was like, I love him. What are you talking about? It was such, that had to be the oddest part of that conversation, hands down. The fact that they're looking at John Fetterman as somebody who should be president. Never mind that picture, guys. Pulled that up by mistake. The fact that they're talking about John Fetterman, either one of them, because they're both the same person. You know, there's no theory behind this. It's the same guy. It's clearly the same guy. The fact that they think that John Fetterman should be president. Okay. There's 6 pictures. Okay. They're all the same person though. Okay. You know, I'm just saying they're all, you know, there's no theory here to be had. Okay. I'm not getting conspiratorial or anything. I'm just saying I do have a tinfoil Speedo on. I do. You guys know I keep it on all the time, but I'm just saying all 6 of these guys, they're the same guy. It's all the same guy. So let's not even talk about that. This is the same person. The fact that they think that this guy, either one of those guys that you see on the screen, should be president of the United States is absolutely ridiculous. It's the same person. I'm just showing this just to show it. You know, I just wanted to show you the guy's face. I don't know. The fact that this dude, oh, there's Tim. There's Tim again. That's not what I wanted to show you. But, you know, he's the same person. He shouldn't be president of the United States because we don't know what's happened to this gentleman. Let's just be frank. We don't know what's happened to this gentleman. Okay? I think this one's the original one. I don't know what's going on with the rest of them. Okay? He's changed somehow. I don't know how. Okay, I don't get it. I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, that's dumb." I don't know, man. But you're saying all this stuff in lockstep. You disappear for a minute, you come back, you look completely different. You're still in lockstep with everybody. No, Joe, this is gonna be another puppet. It's gonna be another puppet. Okay, you don't need this. It's just such a weird conversation to have. Fetterman, yeah, you know, they're going to do some soul searching and then they'll turn to Fetterman. He could win in a second. What are you talking? Let me tell you, if Don Jr. runs, Eric Trump, Ivanka, because that's what the Simpsons predicted, Ivanka's going to run in 2028, any of them win, they're beating Fetterman. This is nonsense. If the long shot, if the real wild card steps in, Tucker Carlson, oh, it's done. If J.D. Vance decides to step in with Vivek, it's done. What are we talking about here? We're talking about John Fetterman? Well, you know, he wears hoodies. I wear hoodies. Oh, my God. Hey, guys. This is the biggest show in the world. What are you guys saying right now? Hey, I wear hoodies. I think he could really win. Oh, I think he'll do really well. What are you guys talking about? Anyways, guys, I was just taken back by this part of the conversation. I'm like, let me make a video about this because I just saw Fetterman take the stage of Philadelphia. I was very disappointed about that. I don't get. Listen, you're part of the Democratic Party. I understand you're going to want to support whoever, I guess. But this guy just talked about working with J.D. Vance. He obviously has worked with Tim Walz. And he obviously has worked with Kamala Harris. You have to understand that these two are, if he's somebody who's saying, I'm not a progressive anymore, looking at those two and saying, oh yeah, that's the ticket right there. Wouldn't you look at them and be like, wow, this is way too progressive. They're doing the exact thing that I don't want to see happen. But if you're a company man, if you're a meat puppet, if you're going to do whatever you're told, then you're going to go on stage and call Trump weird and call JD Vance weird and say, Kamala Harris and Tim, they're going to do it. Listen, I'm going to sign off now because I'm just going to start complaining in a second. Okay. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, helps the channel tremendously. Other than that, I'm out. Don't vote Fetterman.